Wow! Hello and welcome to Total Mind Fitness, your well-being workout. And we have a brand new week ahead of us. This is the It's Within Your Reach Triumph system, and we're going through a whole system together, how to get through this, together, and how to get through this by raising the quality of our life. No matter what situation we're in right now, we have the ability to raise the quality of our life. All right. So you might be in a situation where you're feeling serious distress. I can understand that. We're in a very distressful situation. You might have even more distress than just corona distress. You might be having distresses that you've had in the past, and that's being added to this. You still have the ability to raise the quality of your life. It's still within your reach. All right. So no matter what situation you're in, homeschooling is really getting you down. You've got kids around your feet. You don't know what to do. It's still within your reach to take you from trauma to triumph, to increase the quality of your life. And that's what this is all about. So get in the comments, start sharing, liking, tagging. Just see, what's going on. Let's try and share this so that we can get as many people on this as possible. This is on Facebook Live. It's on YouTube Live. On many groups that we can try and share this as much as possible. I've shared it with different groups. You can share it with different groups. Get your friends and your family on board. Let's start learning together new skills on how to get through our life with the distresses that it brings with it, with the pain and the emotional hardship that it brings with it. And let's take all that and raise the quality of our life so that we can start living useful lives of a little bit more meaning and purpose to it, bringing our lives to a point where it's much more satisfactory for us to live, and that we have better relationships with ourselves and with our loved ones and friends that are around us. So likes, love hearts, share, tag, watch party, whatever you can do to spread the word, and let's get this going together. This is a little oasis. It's 11 a.m. every morning UK time from Monday to Friday to Thursday. Okay, so it's a little oasis for you, no matter what you're doing. If you can possibly put down what you're doing for half an hour, or just listen to this while you're doing what you're doing. Maybe you're, washing the dishes. Maybe you're preparing lunch. Maybe you're, doing things with the kids. Maybe you're, I don't know, doing some other kind of functional task, and you just want this in the background. That's also okay. If you can actually follow this with me face to face, that's also okay. If you're listening to this in a replay, it's also okay. Whatever is useful for you is good. There's no guilt, there's no problem, there's no shame, there's no nothing. What's useful for you is good, right? So we need to get this also into our lives. Ask ourselves, is what I'm doing useful? Is it working? I mean, that's a great litmus test for whatever we're doing. Is it useful to me? And is it working? Right? Is there some sort of utility involved in what my actions? So my actions as a parent, is what I'm doing as a parent useful, and is it working? As a spouse, as a partner, is what I'm doing useful, and is it working? My relationship, the way that I'm relating. We're not talking about blaming others. We're not talking about asking if others are doing useful and workable things. We're talking about our own behavior. Is my behavior useful, and is it working? Whatever it is that I want to do with it. As a friend, is the way that I friend people as a verb, the way that I am friending people, Is it useful? And is it working? As a child, am I childing towards my parents in a useful and workable way? As an employee, am I being a useful and workable employee? Or an employer, am I a useful and workable employer with my staff? As a general member of my neighborhood or community, am I being a useful and workable member? And society in general, am I being useful, and is it working what I'm doing towards the society that I live in? These are the questions that we're asking today. Okay, so please share, like, and tag, and let's get this show on the road. What we're talking about is taking our lives from trauma to triumph. Okay, we're all going through, I'm not talking worldwide, okay? I'm talking 183 countries or more, I'm talking worldwide, that we're all going through a certain amount of trauma and distress. Everybody in their own individual way, but also as a community, as a worldwide community, we're going through a certain amount of distress and trauma. And this program is all about learning skills to take us through that trauma into triumph in our life, into raising the quality of our life. It's within our reach. It's not something that is rocket science. It's not something that you need to study years for. It's not something that you need to go up on top of a mountain and become a Zen out kind of meditative kind of person. No, this is within your reach. This is something that you can learn 11 a.m. every morning together with me, and we will go through these skills. We will practice the skills, and I've got a real treat for you this morning if you hang on with me, and we can actually learn skills to take our life from trauma to triumph. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, like, we can be sitting at home right now in a lockdown situation, and we're under serious distress. I mean, anxiety, distress, could be depression, could be any of these fancy pathological names. It doesn't matter. What matters is at the moment is, am I going to invest in changing my behavior to raise the quality of my life? This is the question. And if the answer is yes, I am willing to put effort in, and I'm willing to invest in my own well-being, then you're in the right place, because then together we can learn and practice skills that will raise that quality of a life. It is within your reach. It is possible. And that's what we're doing now. That is what we're doing when we're taking our lives from a traumatic situation into triumphant. It's within your reach. And how do we do that? Well, the Triumph system is about transforming our behavior and habits. And we're going through each episode through our behavior and through our habits and learning skills and how to change that and how to raise the quality of our life. So the T is about transforming our behavior and habits. And that T, we are going into detail and understanding what is it about our behavior that is influencing the quality of our life. What is it about these habits that are influencing the quality of our life? And how can we actually learn new skills to change that? Okay, so that is really important. The R is about resilience building. And when we get to that, we will learn skills on how to take the resources that we have and strengthen them and really build that resilience to all this kind of distress, whether it's corona distress or whether it's other distresses in your life. The I in Triumph is about interpersonal relationship enhancement. It's about learning how to build and enhance the relationships that are important to us. Now, these relationships might be intimate relationships between me and my partner. It might be loving relationships between me and my children or me and my parents. And it might be relationships between me and my peers, whether they're my colleagues at work, or whether they're my neighbors in the neighborhood, or whether they're members of my community. And it might even be the relationship between me and my boss or me and my workers. So whether it's horizontal relationships or vertical relationships, we can enhance that. And when we enhance our relationships between ourselves and others in the world, we raise the quality of our life. And that's within our reach as well. And we'll get to that when we get to the I in Triumph, which is interpersonal relationship enhancement. When we get to the U in Triumph, we're talking about upskilling and planning the work and working the plan, or planning our life and living our plan. And this is about how we can lightly, holding it lightly, put things into place, put ideas into place, put thoughts into place about how we're going to live and what we want to get out of this life. And that's be really important when we get to that. That's the I in the Triumph. And that's the U in the Triumph, sorry. And the M in the Triumph is about mindful moments. It's about the way that we live in a mindful way that we can gain the most qualitative benefit out of everything we're doing. And that doesn't matter if we're washing dishes or we're eating food or we're walking. Simple everyday movements and tasks can become very, very significant mindful moments. And these things are really important that we learn how to do this. And there are hundreds of mindful moments that we can do in one day. And then we will learn the P in Triumph, which is about peer-to-peer support. And we're already learning about that here in these daily Total Mind Fitness mindful workouts, right? So by doing this, by coming together, by being together, by being able to comment, by being able to interact, by being able to support each other, this will give us that peer-to-peer support that is really, really important. And studies show us that social support, peer-to-peer support, is really the antidote to many things. And the H in the Triumph system is about harnessing our thoughts and feelings. Our thoughts and feelings, if they're not harnessed properly, can really take us all over the place. Maybe you've experienced it yourself when a thought comes in and kind of hijacks your brain and takes you off on a journey that you don't really want to go in. And when you're off on a journey that you don't want to go on, that might be a journey away into the past. It might be a journey away into the future, but we really don't manage to be with ourselves in this particular moment, and therefore we lose touch with what's happening in our lives right now. So it's really important that we learn to harness our thoughts and our feelings, and we will learn this through the Triumph system. So put some comments in, ask some questions, be part of this. If you've got anything that you want to say, then now is the time to say it. You're welcome to put your comments in the comment section, and we'll try and read them out. You can say hello even, or if you have a question, you can put a question in. But you're welcome to interact with me in the comments. Share, like, tag, watch party, put likes up and love hearts up, and whatever it is that you can do to make this a really interactive and enjoyable half hour or so that we have together. So we're talking about the Trauma to Triumph system, and I was telling you before about the behavior and habits that we want to change, and we want to improve the quality of our life by transforming our behavior and habits. And the B in behavior is about behavioral goals. It's about deciding what we want to do with our lives. What behavior do we want to change in our lives that we can make it better? Okay, so it's a thought about what behavior can increase the chances of us living a higher quality life. I mean, that's what it's about. It's a little bit of contemplation, thinking, you know what, what's my behavior like that I would, if I did something differently, it would increase the quality of my life. Okay, so what would I do differently? What would I start doing or stop doing? What would I do more of, or what would I do less of? How would I treat myself differently? How would I treat others differently? if I wanted to increase the quality of my life? What activities might I do? What challenges would I give myself? These are the questions that we can just ponder over. Just let them marinate in our mind. And, our mind is great at coming up with answers. So if we just even go to sleep one night with the idea of what behavior do I really want to change in my life? What would I like to do differently? And what would I start maybe doing if I really wanted to? And what would I stop doing if I wanted to raise the quality of my life? It's about changing the behavior that I am doing right now that will give me a chance. Okay, nothing is guaranteed, nothing, but it will give me the chance of increasing the quality of my life. We're not talking about, oh yeah, I need to earn millions of pounds, or I need to have a new car, or I need to have a new house. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what actual behavior do I need to change, that I need to behave in what way, that by me behaving in that way, it will lead to the possibility of raising the quality of my life, raising the quality of my relationships with people, raising the quality of the work that I do, raising the quality of what kind of parent I am, raising the quality of what kind of friend I am, raising the quality of what kind of individual I am, raising the quality of what kind of neighbor I am, raising the quality of what kind of citizen I am in the country or member of a community. These are the things that will raise the quality of our life. And so we ask ourselves the question, what could I start doing, or what could I stop doing that will increase the chance that I will live a higher quality life? So that was the B in the behavior. And the E in the behavior is about being engaged in that goal, being engaged in the behavior that we want to do, and taking one step at a time in the direction of doing what matters. Okay, what matters is what I've decided what matters. What I've decided increases the chance of raising the quality of my life, and possibly the quality of the lives of the people that are associated with me. So what really matters in your life? And then when you've decided that, write it down. And then think about what tiny little baby step can you do in that direction. And then another. So what could you do today that can fulfill that goal of yours of making your life better? Tiny thing that you can do today, right in your house right now. It doesn't have to be a mammoth thing. You can do it right now where you are. And whatever situation it is, how can you enhance relationships with people around you? How can you be a better employee or employer at this moment? What is it about your life that you would like to increase the quality? It might even just be like what I did, go into the garden and plant some seeds and then watch them grow and be engaged in that. Because it matters to me. That might be something that totally doesn't matter to you. It didn't matter to me 4 weeks ago, but it matters to me now, and I can see that it's enhancing the quality of my life, being outside, in the sunlight, in the fresh air, dealing with soil and little seeds. And that really pleases me. It really gives me a sense of participating in nature. And that's really increasing the quality of my life. And when that increases the quality of my life in that area, it gives me a lot of motivation to change my behaviors in other areas of my life. So I stop doing things that are not so useful to me, that are not so workable to me. And I start doing other things that are much more useful to me and much more workable to me. So it's really interesting how it spreads to different parts of our life. It generalizes. When we start to change an area of our life over here, it starts to generalize and change different parts of our life in different areas. And so really it's about just taking that first step, and you'll find that it starts to increase the quality of wonderful different parts of your life. And that's the E in behavior, the E about being engaged. The H is about being holistic. It's about understanding that it's not just about our body. It's not just about making sure that we're physically fit. It's not just about eating the right foods. It's not just about getting exercise. That's really, really important, but it's not the whole picture. The whole picture is taking our physical fitness, our mental fitness, and our spiritual fitness. And our spiritual fitness, sometimes people get a little bit scared. What does that mean, our spiritual fitness? Well, our spiritual fitness is about bringing meaning and purpose into our life. And we've said many, many times, we've learned this from Viktor Frankl, who spent many years in the concentration camps, especially Auschwitz and the death camps. And he explains in his writings about how he brings purpose and meaning into his life, even in that very, very restricted and constricted way of living, under super fear of death, under super distress. But yet when you bring that spirituality, that sense of purpose and meaning and direction in your life, it can really raise the quality of your life and get you through many, many things. And when we understand the meaning and quality in our lives, we can almost do anything if we're attached to that. We can suffer anything when we are attached to that. We can get by and understand what we need to get by when we have that why, when we have that sense of purpose and meaning. So that's the spiritual side, that's the soul side. And the mental side is what you're doing right now. Every morning with me, you're training that mental side. You're giving your mental side that fitness workout so that you can become mentally fit as well as physically fit, as well as spiritually fit. And this holistic attitude is what will raise the quality of your life. So that is the H in behavior. And the A in behavior is about being aware, is about taking that moment just to pause, just to stop for a minute. So beautiful sometimes just to stop. Take a deep breath. Let the air out. Take another deep breath through our nose and out through our mouths. When we breathe out far more slowly than in. So in, hold, and then out through our mouths very slowly. In as if we're smelling a flower, and out as if we're blowing out a candle. Breathing in, hold it, and then blow out that candle. And pausing for a minute and being aware of what's happening inside my body. Being aware of what's happening inside my head and my mind. What thoughts are showing up. What emotions are showing up in my body right now. What sensations are showing up in my body right now. Just taking that moment to be aware of it. Be aware of what's happening outside of me right now. Using my eyes to look around and being aware of what I can see. Using my ears to listen carefully and hear new sounds right now. What can you hear? Using my sense of touch. What's touching my skin right at this moment? Maybe you can feel your glasses now, or maybe you have a hat on your head you can feel right now, or maybe like me, you feel the t-shirt right now on your skin. What do you feel right now through your skin? Taking that moment to pause, putting 2 feet on the ground, pushing them into the ground. Straight back, feeling yourself on the chair, taking that deep breath again. Smell the flower and blow out the candle. Slowing down and becoming aware of our lives. That's the A in behavior. The V in behavior is about finding out what really matters in your life. What do you want your life to stand for? What do you want your day to be about? Are you going to be curious today? Is it about being compassionate to yourself and others? Is it about being adventurous? Is today about being adventurous for you? No matter what it is, even within your own household. What does this life mean to you? What matters to you? What matters about living your life today? We don't have to talk about the whole of our lives. We don't have to get into really, metaphysical kind of discussions. Just what is it going to be about today? That's already a good start. And that's the values in our life. What matters? What do you want your life to stand for? What do you want your life to be about? What purpose? What meaning? And the I in behavior is about integrity. Right? It's about integrity. It's about showing up. It's about being consistent. It's about being honest. It's about understanding that you have a certain pride in who you are and what you are, and having expectations of yourself in a way that you want to live your life and be part of that human community. And it's about having actions. It's about being trustworthy. It's about being a human being. It's about being fair. It's about being kind. It's about having particular principles in your life and living them. And people need other people to have integrity. We need to have integrity in our own lives, so we have that clear conscience of how we're living. And that's the I in behavior, and that's really important. And the O in behavior is about being open. It's about being open to experiences that we experience in our life. It's about being open to what happens, being flexible, being open, being open to sometimes having distressing thoughts, because our brain is not putting out these thoughts for nothing. It's putting out these thoughts because that's what our brain does. It manufactures thoughts. Being open to experience these emotions that are sometimes painful and distressing. Being open to the experiences that we have in our life and the different things that happen to us. Being open enough to be willing to experience it. That's what being open is all about in our behavior. And it's really important that we learn to be open with ourselves and open with others too. Be willing to experience the behaviors of others, right? Be willing to experience them when our partner or our children or our friends, sometimes they are going through distresses too. We need to be open to the fact that they're also, and be willing to experience the hardships that our friends are going through as well. So that's really important. And that brings us to today about the U, the usefulness. Does it work? Is what we're doing working? Is our behavior that we're doing working? Ask ourselves, is this really working for me? Is it useful, what I'm doing right now? And if the answer is no, then we really have to consider, is this something maybe that I want to change to a more useful behavior, to a behavior that works for me and for the people around me? And it's a real question that we need to ask ourselves, and also on a regular basis, because what is useful today might not be useful tomorrow. What got you here in your life today might not get you there in the future tomorrow. So we constantly need to ask ourselves, is what I'm doing useful? Is it working? Or is it something that needs to be updated in my life? It needs to be changed to something more useful, changed to something more workable. And that's the you in behavior. And so that brings us to the end of this first episode here in Monday, 11 a.m. And this going towards the end of the 6th week of lockdown in the UK. And together we're going to get through this. And together we're going to take our lives up from that traumatic, distressful situation that we find ourselves in and raise it up to a more triumphant and high quality lifestyle. Thank you for joining me, and see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Take care.